Good morning, friends. Michelle here from Halfway Homestead, and I felt like it was time for our June garden tour. Excuse me. Now, you're going to notice some big differences in this garden. For example, these 4 beds, 4 by 8 foot beds, have been almost completely harvested and are ready to be replanted. And so I'm going to bring you in closer so you can see what each of those beds look like. And I apologize for the noise in the background. It just so happened they're grading the road today too. In this first bed, I've got celery and dill, and this bed had beets. I did 3 successions of beets. The third succession never germinated. Second succession was fantastic. First succession was amazing. I think I've done a total of maybe 6 or 8 pints of pickled beets. And so now I'm going to be putting some black turtle beans in this bed, as well as I planted all of my garlic corums in these 3 rows, and we'll see how they do. I also on this trellis have a loofah, and friends, look at the size of this plant. That is one plant. It is gigantic, and I've got tiny loofahs. Let me find one. Let's see. Well, here's one that I don't think got pollinated. And then, okay, so here's one. I've got another one up here. They're kind of hard to see because they're the same color of the stems. And then down here at the bottom, I've got scarlet runner beans. I've never planted loofahs or scarlet runner beans. We'll see how they do. One thing I want to do while I'm out here today is clip up some of these shoots that are coming out from the loofah. I don't want them reaching over to the other trellis. So I stuck some clips here in my roux. Grab one of these little ones, and I'm just going to help this loofah go up the trellis instead of across to the other one. And I think that will be helpful. And look here, I don't know if you can see it on the camera. I may have to back up the camera. My husband found a welcome sign in the dump. And so let me move the camera up so you can see it. Oh, too far. There it is. And I thought that was really sweet of him to bring home for me. So this bed is pretty much mostly empty. The sugar snap peas are finished. I need to pull those out. And I have a cucumber, well, 2 cucumbers over here that are just really suffering. They've produced a couple cucumbers. I've got a big cosmos plant right here. And these are carrots that have gone to seed. And I brought some bags out for me. Or they've gone to flower, not to seed. So I bought these little bags on Amazon, and I'm going to try to save seeds. I have never saved carrot seeds before. I've never had a carrot go to seed before. What did I do with those bags? Here they are. And I don't even know what kind of carrot this is because it was a rainbow mix of carrots. And so this one fell over. We had a storm 2 nights ago, and it knocked this one over. So I'm going to, oh, it's losing its little flower petals. It must be just about ready to go to dry up for seed. Okay. All right, I'm going to cover that up. All right. And then I will save seeds from those 2 carrots, and we'll see how they do next year. I don't know. It'll be fun to try that out. Moving down to this bed, this 4x4 bed was put here for the sake of asparagus. And so all of the asparagus that we put in this year was new, so none of it has been harvested. It has gone to going to seed and feeding the crowns back down into the plant. But I thought, well, I don't want to leave it completely empty, so I put in some flowers. And I don't know if you can see from the camera, but these zinnias are gorgeous. Let me turn the camera for you to see bring you around here. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? One thing I want to do today while I'm out here is make a bouquet. So speaking of flowers, I'm going to bring you over to this bed. And this 4x4 bed is just flowers. It has zinnias, which really, the white ones are not my favorite, but they're pretty. It has zinnias. I've got Mexican sunflowers that are just starting to bloom. And what else do I have in here? I've got stock. I have cosmos. And way underneath here, which are being completely shaded out, are nasturtiums and snapdragons. Ugh, green bean leaf, or not green bean leaf beetles, but those Japanese beetles. I hate those things. This zinnia was called a candy cane mix, and I think it's super cute. Coming on around, I have some statice. My first time ever growing statice, so that's exciting. I did put some in the house to dry. I'm going to take in some more. Oh, there's a snapdragon. These are called Black Prince, and more cosmos. And then we get into this bed. This bed is a nasty mess. This bed had all of my leeks and onions, which I recently pulled and preserved, and I can share some of that with you in just a minute. It has completely filled up with grass. There is a volunteer potato plant right here. I need to pull it out. And then on the trellis, which I'll bring you in closer to see, I've got cantaloupe and watermelon. So here are the cantaloupe and the watermelon, and they're just getting big enough to start trellising. I can see that I need to take my little clips out and clip some of them up too. And then I have a sweet alyssum right here. This last 4x8 bed, excuse me, has also been harvested and working on getting it flipped. Up here on the trellis are sugar snap peas that are finished, and I have left some of them just so I can gather seeds, and I have already done that. So I just need to pull these out and give them to the chickens. And then, so this bed had all of my garlic, and at the other end, which I'll bring you down here closer to see, are my cucumbers. Let me take you a little bit farther. All right, we'll put the camera right there. Okay, so these cucumbers are called Lisboa. I've never heard of them before. And this summer, well, it was about in May, I guess, we went camping, and near the campground was an Amish store. Excuse me. And so they had these cucumber plants for sale. I think they were $1.99 a piece. I bought 4, and I went ahead and bought them knowing I was going to plant my own. But the last few years, I have had terrible luck with cucumbers. And so the Mennonites at that store told, I don't know if they're Amish or Mennonite, one of those two. They said that the cucumbers they sell in the store are these cucumbers. And we've bought cucumbers there before, and they're delicious. So I built this wooden trellis to try trellising the cucumbers, like I've seen on some of the other YouTube channels. Now this plant here got knocked down by the hail that we had probably a month ago. I think I talked about it in my last video. And it has really struggled to come back. However, it has baby cucumbers, so we'll see how it does. I need to harvest a few cucumbers while I am out here. Let me get my clippers out. I have a new pair of clippers I'm going to use. I don't like to pull on the cucumbers because then it kind of pulls on the vine, and I don't like to do that. Now this guy, he's kind of curly, but look at that. And that's about the size I like to plant. He's got a little bit of sunburn. but it'll be okay. Put these in my bucket. I like this size mostly for pickling. And in fact, I have gifted cucumbers off of this plant. We have eaten cucumbers off of this plant. And I have a 2-gallon crock absolutely full, like within an inch of the top of cucumbers from this plant. And I've got another plant over here making 14-day sweet pickles. And I think I have a video about making those pickles. If I do, I will link it or put it up to the side for you to watch. It literally does take 14 days to make these sweet pickles. It's my mother-in-law's recipe, which I think she got from either her mother-in-law or her mom. And they're my husband's favorite. Okay, I think that's it off of that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cucumbers off of that one vine today. And I just harvested a couple days ago. And there are probably that many, if not more, still on the vine. So I do have a borage here in the middle. And oh, I forgot to show you my newest, I wouldn't say it's an experiment. Let me bring you closer and I'll show you. Okay, so this plant right here is a snail vine. And I've got one here and I have one on the other side that's really not doing great. It's much smaller. I think once I get those sugar snap peas out of there and it's not being shaded so much, then maybe it'll be better. But I saw these snail vine plants when we went to, we meaning Kelsey and I, went to the Baker Creek Fall Festival. And they had them on arched trellises, and the flowers are like corkscrews, like a snail. I mean, they kind of look like a snail shell. And they were lavender and purple and pink and had some white. And the aroma, the scent from those snail vine flowers were amazing. So on that day, I wanted to buy some seeds, and of course they were out. And the ones there in the garden had not yet gone to seed. So once they were in stock, I ordered a pack, and they were extremely expensive. I think it was, I want to say 5 seeds for $7, something like that. Or maybe it was 7 seeds for $5. Anyway, they were expensive. And I gave a couple seeds to Kelsey. Hers look about like mine. And my first 2 that I planted, I direct sowed. Did not come up, did nothing. So I decided to try 2 more seeds. It must have been 7 seeds because I think I gave Kelsey 3. Anyway, I tried to start 2 seeds in the house under my grow lights, and one of them germinated. So when I came out to plant that one, I had then saw that one of them that I direct sown had also germinated. So it did say on the packet, it takes 10 to 20 days for germination. The 2 that I started in the house, I did scarify and soak. And so I think that made a huge difference. I don't know why one came up and one didn't, but I'm hopeful that these 2 snail vines will come up over the trellis right there with the scarlet runner beans and the loofah, and I can save seeds. And oh my gosh, they are just amazing. And I will of course show you what happens. On the, so I've got 2 arches or 2 sides that currently have sugar snap peas and nothing else except for that one snail vine. I'm going to add to those trellises some baby pumpkins and some of the little bitty gourds and sugar pie pumpkins. And then in this bed where the garlic was, along with the onion bed. I'm going to get those cleaned out, and I'm going to put probably beans in there. I've got some black turtle bean seeds. I've got pinto bean seeds, and I've got dragon tongue beans. And so I want to get those into those beds. I don't want those beds sitting idle. I want something growing in there. Even if I just fill them with flowers, I want something growing. Now in this garlic bed, I've got volunteer ground cherries. So let me bring you up here closer and I can show you those. So these are volunteer ground cherries, and I'll be very careful when I'm cleaning out this bed to not disturb these. And they've got little cherries on them, which if you've ever had a ground cherry, they are, they're like a tomatillo where they have a papery husk on the outside edge. And then with the ground cherries, I wait until they fall to the ground before I harvest them. And they turn on the inside, their papery husk turns kind of a khaki color, tannish, creamy white color. On the inside is this teeny tiny, about the size of a marble, fruit. And it is in the tomatillo family. It's sold as a type of tomato, but it tastes kind of like pineapple. It is amazing. I also have a whole row of ground cherries in the garden. Here in this, well, this first row are all my sweet potato bags and ginger and sunflowers. And then, get the camera just right, in this row is, I did just recently plant 2 squash plants. So I did a white scallop and a Peter Pan. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ground cherry plants here in the in-ground garden. I'm hoping to get enough to actually make something with the ground cherries. I tend to just eat them up when I have 1 or 2 plants, but hopefully I will be able to make something. Kelsey sent me a link a few days ago. Somebody made like a pineapple upside down cake with ground cherries, and it looked so amazing. So I'm hoping to get to try that. At the other end of this bed are a zucchini plant and a yellow squash plant. And I noticed yesterday the squash bugs have arrived. First it was the Japanese beetles. They're here. Now we've got squash bugs. So yesterday I went to the store and I bought diatomaceous earth. I'm hoping that that will help get rid of the squash bugs. And then also I will be looking for the eggs and getting rid of those. So let me take you down to the other end of the garden and I will show you what the eggs look like so that you can look for them in your own garden. And then if we see a squash bug, I'll show you that too. Okay, so here is, I really don't remember which one is yellow squash and which one is zucchini. I did put the markers in, but I'm not sure I put them in the right spots. This plant, it says zucchini, is really, really struggling. And I will tell you, since I moved to this property, I have yet to be able to grow a zucchini. And I've been growing on this property for 4 years. And so that's very frustrating. I don't currently see any squash bugs, but let's see, let's check out this yellow squash. I don't see any bugs per se, but let's look for eggs. So the eggs are typically on the underneath side of the leaves. I'm not seeing any right now. I saw some and I squished some last night. Maybe I squished them all. I don't know. Well, okay. I thought I'd be able to show you some, but I'm not seeing them, which is a good thing. That makes me very happy to not have them. Yeah, this is a zucchini because the leaves are prickly. Oh, I have a white woolly worm. I have never seen a white woolly worm until my friend Lindsay sent me a picture of one yesterday because she had never seen one. Okay, well, I was going to show you squash bugs, but I guess I won't since I can't find any. And that is a beautiful thing to not be able to find squish bugs. I'm going to turn you back around. Okay, the storm knocked over some of my sunflowers, so I need to pick those up and just take them out to the chickens. They like the sunflowers. All right, then I have 2 rows of green beans, and so I did, again with the green beans, I did the succession sowing, which means I planted this first row, and then 2 weeks later, I planted this second row because I want the beans to be coming in at different times. I have already picked just this week, today's Thursday, I think I picked Saturday and I picked Monday. And so it is time to pick again. But these are jade green beans, another variety I've never grown before. But several of the YouTube people that I follow, that's what they grow and have great success with them. And let me tell you something, these plants are prolific. So I can see already that I need to plant or to pick again. So today, before I go inside, I will be picking beans, and tomorrow I'll be canning because those others that I have picked are in the refrigerator just waiting. The beans go all the way to the other end. And I'm going to take you down again on the other side so I can show you what's going on down there. All right, so all the way down, well, it's about halfway, I guess. You can see Daisy down there. Hi, Daisy. These are potatoes, and they are almost ready to harvest. And so with potatoes, they get these beautiful big green leafy plants. Then they flower. And once they flower, you can start digging those little bitty, what we call new potatoes. But if you wait until the plants kind of yellow and die back, then your potato harvest should be ready and you should be able to get some pretty good sized potatoes. Next to the potatoes are artichokes. There's a lot of new stuff in this garden, stuff I've never grown before. Artichokes is one of those things, and yes, my garden needs to be weeded. I'm so sorry, but that's life. This artichoke here on the right is doing really well. The one on the left, not so much. I might have hit it with the weed eater. I'm not sure. It is very possible. Here in the middle, if you remember from the last video, this was brassicas, cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage, kale. All of that has finished, been taken out. We tilled. I say we, it was Scott that tilled. And I have planted red swan beans, which is like a green bean, but they're red, and purple TP beans. Again, they're green beans. You eat them as green beans, but they're purple. Both of those turn green as you're cooking. Oh, look, there is one coming up. Good, that's the first one I've seen come up. So that's exciting. Over here, where I have the little trash cans, those are protecting calendula plants. And I have one calendula getting ready to bloom. So that's exciting. This last year I made, what was it? Oh, I made some salve with the calendula. And it's supposed to be really good for people with eczema, which I definitely have eczema. I knocked over my garden marker. Okay. And I really like it. So, and I've shared it with some family. Some of them really like it, some don't, and that's okay. And so I wanted to grow some more calendula so that I could make more salve. Okay, we've got more cucumbers here. Let me go ahead and grab these. These are more of the Lisboa cucumbers. This one's a little bit bigger than those others. I was going to let these sprawl on the ground, and it was just getting to be way too weedy and nasty over here. So I put in this trellis which I just had. I mean, I didn't go buy anything. I already had this back behind the barn. I'm going to clip up this little runner here. I think probably what I should have done is pruned these cucumbers down to 1 liter and not let so many vines go. But they're gorgeous and they're making food. And so I want to just let it go crazy. Oh, here's another one I need to clip up. I do get these little clips from Dollar Tree, of all places. So they come in 2 different sizes in 1 package. They do break easy. You have to be gentle with them. But I think I get 20 in a pack, and they work really well. I use them on the cucumbers. I use them on the tomatoes. And yeah, so I've been using those for probably 3 years. And they are, oh, there's more cucumbers. Okay, so that makes a total of 13 cucumbers that we've harvested this morning. I will probably eat a couple, and then most of those are going to go into, let's see, I've got sweet pickles started, so the next ones I do will be dill. And then I'm hoping to end up with enough. I can also do a batch of bread and butter pickles. Find another clip in here. Okay, here we go. There we go. Keep him upright. So in this row behind the 2 cucumbers, got something in my eye, are my peppers. And then over here on this side are tomatoes with a few flowers here at the beginning. I don't know if you can see those. I've got zinnias. And this is called an Ozark Giant Marigold. I had to clip it up to the trellis because it was going crazy. Let me turn around. Okay, so here on the left are tomatoes. There's about 27 tomato plants in there, which I know is too many. And I know I need to weed the pathway. We'll get there. I have been pruning the tomatoes and just making sure they have good airflow at the bottom. I think I walked through a spider web. I think that's what's in my eyelashes. Okay, and using my clips to clip them up to the trellis. Sometimes I use string, kind of depends. If the branch is close enough to the trellis, I'll use the clip, but I certainly don't want to pull and put stress on the plant. So then I'll use string. Excuse me. On this other side, I've got peppers, and looky here, there is, can you see that? There's a pepper. I think that one's Edvarsky. And then I have nadapenos, which are jalapenos, but they're not hot. I don't even know what all the varieties of tomatoes are because I know the kinds I started, then the hail knocked a bunch down. So I planted some that I had left over. I got some from Kelsey, and I just don't even know what all I've got in here. But I'm so excited for the growth because a month ago, they were barely to the bottom of the trellis. And now, well, this one, this is a 4-foot trellis, I think. And so it's within probably 8 or 10 inches of the top. So that's exciting. More peppers, some borage. In between the peppers, I have planted dill and basil. Let's see, let me find some that's actually coming up so I can show you. Oh, see, there's some basil right there. And then somewhere over here between tomatoes, oh, here we go. I've got some more basil there too. I was going to show you a little tomato. I know I've got one. Here we go. There's a tiny little tomato. And I'm pretty certain that this one plant, let me find it again. Oh, where did it go to? Well, now I'm not seeing it. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm fairly certain that this particular plant is what's called a Berry's Crazy Cherry, because look at all of those blooms. Those will all be cherry tomatoes, which I'm not a big just eat tomato kind of gal, but I do like to cook with them. And I like to make things like salsa and spaghetti sauce. Okay, so here we have, these are mini bells. So that's exciting. This little pepper on the end, not doing so good. Here's another status flower plant. And then if we come over here, I have a row of sunflowers, and there are some zinnias tucked in there, and corn. Guys, I have in this. So if you remember in the May garden tour, I was really struggling with what to do with the corn. And it was what had germinated was growing well, but it was pretty sporadic. I was concerned with it getting pollinated, and look at it. It's taller than me. I mean, I can't even get the whole thing in the camera shot. It's above where the camera is showing. So this is a good 6 foot, 6.5 foot, maybe 7 foot in some places. And I planted, I think, 3 different varieties in here because I was just using some random seed packets that somebody gave me. And at least 2 of the varieties are tasseling. Now this first one on the end, those are not tasseling yet, but these are. Look at that. And then if you look down here, there's corn. I am so excited. Now, it looks like there's some corn coming up on there too. So hopeful that we will have a good, at least corn for us to eat a few meals on. Maybe I can share a few with family. And yeah, so excited about the corn. I'm glad I did not decide to rip it out and till it under, which is one of the things I was considering. So these sunflowers, ooh, that's a big old beetle. I planted 2 kinds of sunflowers I've never planted before. One is a chocolate cherry, one is a honey bear. And I have no idea which ones actually germinated and which ones didn't. I ended up with a big space in here where nothing germinated. And so I plugged in some zinnias, and those are doing okay. And then over here, I had the end of a row of corn and nothing planted. Let me bring you down closer so you can see. Hopefully I can get you down far enough. And I planted some okra. And so that's not okra. This right here is okra. And so I've got 1, 2, 3, looks like 4 okra plants. We don't eat a lot of okra, but we have a few family members that really enjoy it. So I always try to put it in the garden. And it has these beautiful hibiscus looking blooms, and the plants get taller than I do. And it's just, I mean, they're a beautiful plant and they provide food. So win-win. I also have a friend named David who loves pickled okra. And so I usually make him a couple jars of pickled okra. And hopefully, get my camera set back up. Hopefully, I will have enough to do that. And so, I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me in the garden. I know it was quick, but let me tell you, people, it is hot out here this morning. It's humid, and I've still got to pick all these beans. And so I'm going to get my cucumbers put in the bucket. I'm going to pick beans. If I have time, I'm going to work on those raised beds and get more beans planted, and my little pumpkins and gourds and pie pumpkins, and we'll see how it goes. So actually, I am going to show you a shot of the front flower beds. They are progressing quite nicely. My camera's crooked, I'm sorry. Anyway, I hope you guys have a beautiful day and happy gardening.